Hi, Reece Atkinson, founder of Eclipse Golf here. Thanks for tuning in. I'm talking to you from the Knightsbridge Golf School. This is our fitting studio we're in, and I wanted to talk to you today about the PXG irons. We've been fitting these for the last 4 or 5 months with great success. The main feedback we've had from all our customers has been how soft they feel. They always stack up in terms of distance. The technology is there, and we know they're forgiving. You can see that by the technology. Obviously, our job is to fit you correctly, so get the right specification in terms of length, loft, lie, weight, kick points, and choose the right model. Choosing the right model is very important, but that's a more detailed discussion. So let's talk about the technology of the PXG irons. I've got a cutaway here just to help you understand it a little bit better. This is the internal view cutaway of the PXG XF iron, extra forgiving. And you can see straight away it's a hollow-bodied iron, so all the weight is around the perimeter of the club, so that makes it very forgiving straight off the bat. The hard thing to do typically with hollow-bodied iron is to make them feel good. So what they did, they injected it with this TPE material, thermoplastic elastomer, and you can see if I push the pencil into this material, you can see how soft it is, actually leaves an indentation there. So very soft material, self-adheres to the inside. The inside is actually CNC milled, so there's a lot of precision and detail that goes into making these clubs. The face is a very light, strong, miraging steel, and they've made it very, very thin. They've been able to make it thin because the material itself is very light and very strong. They've also been able to make it even thinner because the elastomer itself reinforces the face, and therefore it makes sure the durability isn't compromised. So the face will flex more, that means the ball will come off even faster. So lots of ball speed in a very forgiving package with all the weight around the perimeter. And because they've saved weight by having a cavity and a very thin face, they've been able to reposition that weight around or in the head where it's into more performance effective areas. So in the case of the XF here, you can see there's a lot of weight down, further back. If you bring the weight further back, generally speaking, you make the club head more forgiving. You also make it easier to loft the ball up a little bit as well. And also the centre of gravity, this little cavity here would contain one of these screws, which goes into the sole, brings the weight down. When you get the centre of gravity low, it's easy to get the ball airborne. So the repositioning of weight is absolutely key, and that's what they've done really, really well here. So you've got a club which is basically feels incredibly soft because of the elastomer, comes off like a rocket because of the mirage and steel face, and because the elastomer has allowed them to make it even thinner. And it's hollow body, so therefore it's extremely forgiving. So that's a great package to have, and they've got 3 models. I picked up the Tour model here. And let's talk about very quickly the features which make it into a tour model. Slightly thinner top line, chamfered top edge, make it look great. Slightly narrower sole, makes the club face a little bit more workable, makes the turf interaction a bit more precise, it gives better feedback into a better player's hands. The offset of the club is not as great, so offset, well, generally speaking, relates to how far the face is set back from the middle of the shaft there. The further it's back, the more dynamic loft you'll get, and the more height you'll get. And also it can counteract a little bit of slice as well. So in the Tour player model, or the Tour model, it's not as great because that sort of player doesn't need that quite so much. In the XF model, the face is set back even further. Sole width, of course, we just mentioned, the XF is much wider. Face profile is a little bit smaller on the Tour model. The XF is a little bit deeper, a little bit wider this direction. So they're the main features which we're looking at, and obviously, when you're talking about repositioning weight, you can see here these are all the tungsten pellets. I think these are around about sort of 3 grams per screw, and you've got to think about where they position them. So number one, you can see there's a lot of them down low. We've already said if you get a low centre of gravity, you can help height and get the ball up airborne easily. You can also see where they position them. Once you've got this little space down the bottom here, you can see that all the weight is at the back of that cavity, so therefore all the weight is further back. Once again, more dynamic loft, easier to get the ball airborne, and when you set the weight further back, you make it more forgiving. And the other clever little thing they've done here is they position some of the weight in the toe area, which readdresses the balance, because when you have, all irons tend to have quite a lot of weight in the hosel area. So by putting some of that weight here, counterbalances it and makes sure the sweet spot is bang out the centre. So really, they've really hit the nail on the head with the technology of these irons. I think they're a cracking set of irons. They feel great. They come off really quickly. They're very, very forgiving. They've got a model for better players, middle of the range, where it kind of suits everyone if you like. But if you need extra forgiveness, you've got the XF model. So yeah, really good set of irons. I thought it was important to kind of give you a little bit of a review on them. As independent specialists, we do all sorts of brands. I think the PXG is one of the best models out there right now. What we do, of course, is we make the club suit you. So the technology is there. What you've got to do is get it right in terms of length, loft, lie, how does it feel, what's the swing weight, how long should it be, what shaft should you choose, what sort of flex should you have, should it be regular, should it be mid-regular, firm regular, a bit stiffer. All these things come into play, the grip itself as well, what model, what style, what grip size, and also how much sort of tape underneath would you have in the grip. All these things come into play in terms of making the club more consistent for you. And if you can be more consistent in your delivery, you're going to deliver that technology into the back of the ball every time, and you're going to really appreciate the difference. So that's what we can do for you. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for tuning in. If you like it, we'll do more of these. Please hit subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again.